well, Heretics versus GX decides both themselves and Vitality. This one is important, and Kyoto before, I love how Shox ends it with like, should we just flip a coin? I don't know. I feel like this split, both GX and Heretics, some of the best series and some of the worst series, have sometimes felt like flips, and you can take that with, you know, a grain of salt, because we have seen some incredible moments out of these teams. GX recently after the roadshow in Madrid. Heretics have had some absolute bangers when you consider their win against BDS, their game 3 against KC, or the 3-game series. Wins recently against Vitality, against SK. Heretics do feel like they're a team charged, and all they need, as they said on the desk, is a single win to punch their ticket to playoffs.
So, single win is all they need. Both the other teams in this race, every single game matters. We haven't said that for a while. Every game matters, but it does really do today. So, a reminder from what was said on stakes, in terms of the desk, we are getting into that draft. If Heretics win, GX are out. Heretics Vitality lock playoffs. GX 2-0, GX lock, and it's the other two teams, Heretics Vitality, playing the tiebreaker. But if GX drop a game but still win, so it's a 2-1 for them, Heretics is locked and GX will have that tiebreaker versus Vitality instead. So every game matters in terms of tiebreaker implications, or just regular locks as well.
We'll run you through. We've got some graphics to make it easier for you to absorb as well. Talia's one of the first bans, and no surprise what we've seen over the past couple of weeks with first pick in Game 1, Game 2. Now that Talia's off the board, other questions arise. Varus goes with a 2, the Azir as well. I mean, that Maokai is the biggest question left unanswered right now, as that is a must ban in the first 3.
There's that. I suppose there's stuff like the Sejuani, which is very popular for both of these junglers too. We did see, of course, a lot of the kind of global combinations being picked up a lot recently, but we've had a couple of them banned away now with that Talia being taken out, as you mentioned earlier. It's the Vi taken off the table, so Maokai available. Sejuani as well. Maokai Sejuani, very popular here in the LEC. See which one is valued more, or actually, if you think, hey, we've got some powerful junglers both up on the table, let's pick something else right now.
Team Heretics maybe go for comfort, put Sheo in a position of power, and for GX, instant Sion lock-in on the other side, and the Nidalee for Isma. This is the favorite of his, whether it's in an ERL, whether it's on the LEC stage. He's one of the few junglers that really love this pick, and he's going to have a carrying job to do against Sheo here, when Sheo's obviously on a very different role.
And of course, you got that Sion now to kind of tank up that Maokai ultimate. Can in fact go unstoppable through the Maokai ultimate as well if you want to kind of trade engage for engage. They're hovering over that, Lisa. I was wondering actually whether they'd flex the Maokai elsewhere because they see the Sion already. Go for the Gwen instead, so anti-tank top lane.
All right, you have an anti-tank, but do you want to round out something like a support here? The biggest question always is like locking in engage and getting yourself a solid comp when you already have some decent scaling. Maybe the question for Team Heretics. We're just going to watch them cycle for a little bit, because all else I can think is maybe priority mid laner for Kamiloo. That's obviously not going to get locked in. That's a flex, though, as Tristana gets locked.
It is. We saw Kazui play just yesterday on SK. It's a big player at that champion, so there is a chance that it does go down towards that bot lane.
Yeah.
Both of these teams seem to be going towards an arms race for front to back. We have good engage. We have great ability to just like screen off the front line, either with a Maokai ult or just Sion's body himself, and then play for some longer range backline. GX could go into a multi-poke composition with the Nidalee if they want as well. So okay, now we have some weird stuff, because we have Jaxim, we have Nidalee, and we have the Sion. One of those is not going top lane. I mean, we have to really consider now with the last couple of picks, where all is this going to end up? Is this going to be Sion support, as we've seen in some points? Nidalee support?
Because it's Isma, I don't think it's going to be Nidalee top. Like, it's not the flavor of, you know, of the East right now, where this Nidalee runs into either melee or short-range matchups, gets free grasp off with the Nidalee E that gives attack speed steroid. I feel like the Nidalee's the one thing where I'm like, maybe that stays, but you're right.
Yeah.
Like, Sion could go support. We could get Jax up in top, Sion mid.
Yeah, there is the chance that tank mid there, lane, and the Sion mid there for Jackies as well. We've seen a couple of games around the place of like the Ornn mid. It was a thing much more in like Season 8, Season 7 around that point, playing the heavy tank mid, but there's a chance of that too. So now, Heretics have got to do this mental gymnastics. Maybe they've heard some word rumors of scrims, which we haven't here on the broadcast side of things. So as we go into the second round, which largely we expect to be bot lane picks and bans, AD carry support, Heretics have to keep that in mind. They're banning AD carries right now because that's the one thing they definitely don't have.
True. And I mean, slimming out the pool as well, you can see the Team Heretics joining that train. Kai'Sa was one of those other picks as well that's usually picked up in the first phase when left available. Now that that's gone through, the AD carry pool is really shrunk, and for Team Heretics, maybe the benefit is taking this Tristana down bot. opting in for something else. Corky's the only other thing I can think about here. And leaving Nidalee as sole AD, but Nidalee loves things that have, you know, like heavy stun. That's why Sion Jackson solo lane just feels so good. But now that Alistar's gone, yeah, few AD carries left, no one wants to dive. Makes sense.
You have good ability to tag onto the other stuff in terms of Nidalee. Hey, need setup. So does Kai'Sa. Going towards a big engage, get a big stun, unlock that plasma. For Kai'Sa can fly towards that backline. And in the case of Kai'Sa, if you're afraid of the Maokai ult, you can reposition around it. You E to the side, get out of that, dive into the backline after that point. Sometimes you have to choose your terrain a little bit better to make sure you don't just back off away from it.
Rell.
Engage supports notably still up on the table there. Rell comes through. And of course, we did say, chance of that Tristana going into mid or bot lane. Now we'll see whether they lock it. Of course, likely to go into that mid lane, but given what we've seen on the other side, let's not count our chickens before they hatch.
Rell Tristana are a really good 2v2, and you know that they're going to probably play Nautilus on the other side with the synergy with Kai'Sa. Just going to wait and hold up. I mean, the Alistar ban also fished for this Rell, so Heretics know what they want their bot side to be. Jhin, Tristana mid. Okay, bit of range, bit more utility added in. Alongside that hard engage as well. Seems pretty well rounded for Team Heretics, but now this will not answer a question.
Yeah, we'll figure out what... Look, if the Gragas is in, look, against something is going support. We'd see Stend play the Gragas support just the other week.
Could be Gragas mid.
Could be that too. Mate, at this point, I'll wait to see what they lock in. We can have our theories of what's going to get locked in. Gragas is locked in. I would imagine it's Gragas support. We will see if it's the Sion mid. I'd imagine the Jax being a very good matchup to the Gwen. That goes into that top lane. Sion goes mid. Little bit worried about that against the Tristana, because Tristana will be pushing that in an awful lot. Looks like it is. Sion mid. Tank mid. Locked in for Jackies.
I just knew that the Nidalee wasn't going to change because, you know, no offense a lot, I would not trust him with Nidalee top when I feel like it is just such a high, micro-intense lane. And if you miss space, you just get punished so hard. So, I don't know. Again, it is nice to see Isma back on one of his comfort champs. He's played it once this split already, but again in ERLs, if you remember KC Blue only from last EMEA Masters, when Isma was filling in, he pulled off a stunning game on this champion in Div 2. But now that we've got everything nice and settled, nice front lines, big front lines, if Nora and Isma die, I think there's got to be some concern. But yeah, interesting comp from GX to kind of send caution to the wind in a game one.
Yeah, we, funnily enough, we did see, again, some tank mid lanes coming out elsewhere in the world. I think there was a game of Orn mid from RNG over in the LPL. It's the only game I can think of it off the top of my head. Can't remember about the LCK side of things. What it allows you to do is play that heavier carry style from your Jax in the top lane. It's a good matchup versus that Gwen. I like that turnaround because, let's be honest, you know, you lock in the Sion early, they go, yes, great Gwen angle. Well, now the Gwen doesn't play against that Sion in the 1v1. We'll see what happens with the matchup in the mid lane, though, for this all-important series for playoff stand.
It's elimination match. It is the last one that holds its input here over the LEC. We decide what two teams make it into playoffs, which team goes on an extensive holiday. It is that simple. I'm going to redefine it for you. Nice side note, the whole of Carlsen's family is here. Big shout out to them. They've all got a Carlsen jersey on.
Clan Carlsen.
Yes. It's really nice to see the Carlsens out. I feel like I'm talking about a TV show. It's really nice to see all the Carlsens together. Big fan of your son. Very big fan of your son, or cousin, or a nephew, or
family relation.
The family, wherever he fits in. Now, we're going to explain how your son gets into playoffs. How does he walk towards MSI when it is such a big event? I'm going to pause first, though, because it's a body slam into Kamiloo, a crash down as well. Decimating Smash, then uses Flash. Big summoner spell that's now on cooldown as Kamiloo tries to trade back. He gets lethal tempo up, and Jhin at half HP suffers a bit. Now, the GX 2v2, not dead in the water here, but Jhin might have to heal up with the passive, and means lane a little bit less volatile than it could have been.
Sheo, hang on a second, Isma's going for a pretty deep invade here again.
Cosplaying.
Yeah, really wanting to pull him off the first camp. That's kind of annoying.
Lots coming in. Last cone taken. Wait. Sheo's dead. Sheo is just going to die. Lot. Counter-strike, flash, Bramble. It's nice, but decimating Smash on top. As I said, dead meat. First blood to GIANTX.
So Sheo was well behind enemy lines, and I thought, well, you know, maybe it'll be okay, he can get out. Obviously not the case there. Goes down very, very early on. Wonder how this will affect the lanes of Heretics, because now you have your jungler very far behind. You know, you start your camps at 130 or what have you. See, when he gets towards this first camp now, he's going to be at least 30 seconds behind. Yeah. That is very, very problematic against a jungler which takes off speeds up, gets ahead of you, and then forces you behind. This is why Nidalee is so annoying to play against as a tank jungler. Isma has the golden opportunity now to roll ahead with the game.
And she also has set up in all 3 lanes, right? Maybe not as much in Gragas, but like the power of this Nidalee is always about early ganks and where she can go. For GX, they're giving that on a silver platter now for Team Heretics. As I was saying, we didn't get to talk a little bit about what happens here. All they need is a single game in this best of 3. One singular game, and Team Heretics lock themselves in. It's as simple as that. Even if they go on to lose the series, one game, one slip up from GX, and Team Heretics are safe.
However, if they do win the whole series, GX are out. There is no tiebreaker for them.
Right.
The tiebreakers come if GX win the series. Now, it does depend on whether they 2-0 or 2-1. 2-0 means that it's Heretics playing the high tiebreaker versus Vitality. If GIANTX drop a game, though, but still win the series, at 2-1, they will be playing the tiebreaker with Vitality. Of course, with Vitality currently in France, that will be played, believe, tomorrow, actually, because they're not here to play the games right now.
So you can look forward to that Tuesday League of Legends. Oh, you know, I thought Tuesdays were spent just at home with, you know...
With what?
With family and food.
Never think about that.
I kept it very well rated. Don't worry, PG here as Kamiloo slowed down. Decimating smash to good damage. Jackie's doing better in the lane than we expected, and Kamiloo out of 50 HP, or rather 80.
Typically, I would expect something like that. Tristana to just be pushing very heavily, trading very well. Of course, with the ability for Sion to kind of chuck that E through the wave, the roar of the Slayer, if you get that slow, sometimes you can open up for a big decimating smash. Jackie's, I mean, look, he's obviously prepared for the early lane on this champion, helped by the fact that Kamiloo had to start with that W2. Now to see, okay, laning phase, looks like it's going well. And of course, you've now given your top laner a great matchup, which Lot is using to great advantage there. How does that work?
He might take a little bit more. Sheo at level 3, getting bopped around again. Isma's damage not to be dismissed as standing his ground won't work either. Isma looking for the pounce. Carlsen in the way, under the turret, looking for the trade, but an instant flash out, and Carlsen can't match. Isma swipes through in this top side of the map, has a 1k gold lead.
This is disaster early game for Sheo, because not only did you die for that first blood, there are a lot of other problems coming in from that as well, because, you know, we look towards what happens with our map being pushed in, and, you know, this is pushed in. That's not what you would expect having the Tristana mid lane. You were pushed in on the top lane on the minimap, you were pushed in the mid lane as well. Things went to pot with that. It means that none of your lanes can kind of help you after things start to fall apart.
And all lanes right now are pushing in. All lanes feel good. Sheo's on constant defense, and it's a defensive wall placed by Heretics over Raptors. Just wondering where the next strike from Isma's going to be, because he wants to keep the ball rolling, as you all expect. But as you're talking about Nymaera just before, I mean, Carlsen's in a lot of trouble up here. Lot's trading's been good, and, you know, I'm not used to seeing Lot in a position of power, because I feel like Lot has been one of the weakest performing top laners over the course of this split. Granted, this is his first year in the LEC, but, like, still, when we have had other rookies come in, with Carlsen having big players, with Nako doing the same, you kind of put them up to those expectations, but I don't think Lot has hit it in most of the weeks.
I think Madrid really revitalized this guy.
It did.
Because we expected a lot out of Winter. You know, there's only so many times you can use the name pun, but we expected great things out of this player. I think he's part of a great new class of top laners. Potentially, we've seen some of that upper ability. Madrid brought some of that back after a difficult spring. Now the question is, okay, was that a blip? Was that just the arena effect, being in front of a crowd in Spain there? Or is this something that has actually been a full revitalization? We'll see more out of him. He's had a good start here. And of course, now he's 1-0-1, impacting the game early. Let's see how far he can roll with that one. GX as a whole, off to a great start. You are not meant to have a 1.5k gold lead at the 6-minute mark. That's not meant to happen.
Yeah, you're definitely cheering for it, aren't you? The 2v2 and the 1 of Lot is holding out quite nicely here. And Lot takes a bit of a hefty chunk, but even without teleport, remember, he's got grasp and he's also got his phage, so a bit more health to work with here as I look towards Carlsen down bot. Noah and Jhin, the wave is in a slow push. Really nice wave state for GX, and Carlsen can't stand up. Also, Isma taking the dragon. It's like a death knell, but if he does, walk up to that wave indeed.
Carlsen now knows he is, if he didn't know before, he knows he's in on the weak side of the map. As it happens, Isma took a little bit of damage taking the dragon, as of course you do. Choosing to recall on the bot side of the map, not looking for a dive. It's a little bit harder to look for the dive, I think, when you have the Gragas support, who's a little less tanky than, say, someone like the Rell or Leona, who can dive a lot quicker, easier, and not die on the return of it. So they choose to take the higher, the lower risk option. Let's be honest, GX are so far ahead anyway. I think they've got a lot of what they wanted out of this early game. They don't have to push it too hard right now.
Maybe the idea of putting Jackies on Sion is that so that when we get to mid-game and Jackies casually, you know, gets caught out often.
True.
That on Sion, it's going to become harder to do so. He'll hit side.
You can't die in side lanes if you can't die
And
at
you have
all.
to overload side lanes to kill the Sion. So it's like, you know, if they're going to send everyone for me, at least we're going to make it worth it on the other side of the map. GX obviously working with the punches a bit. I get it. It's very 5-end.
We just had a note from production as well. Thank you, production. That this is the second Sion mid in 2025 for Tier 1 League of Legends as well. So
the first one was RNG.
No, that was Ornn mid. So I was making the comparison saying, well, you know, you got the tanking game.
Because I was thinking of Sheo for some reason. I don't know why.
Well, he ain't there anymore. He's gone off in his
like
ways away.
3 years ago.
Made a World Finals or so. He's doing all right for himself, I suppose.
They could have won.
You see the same finals that I did. I'm sure about that one.
Every other game that we didn't see that wasn't the finals, they could have won. I think that's a very different story.
It is.
It's like the sadness of BLG, you know, and they could have won, but it was a good one.
However, you know, funnily enough, bring it back to what's on TV here. But however, there is a thread here. You know, that inconsistency, not knowing what's going to happen. Carlsen.
It worked, but lots of ultis out as well. Solo kill territory. Carlsen gets the needles to fly. He's got full snips ahoy. But meandering around the turret for now, Carlsen has to think about, does he want to risk it? Flash in tow, but a lot to match the same, and all plates given up even with the next wave.
Sheo's here. Do they want to play around? Well, they do. There's the ultimate.
And it's going to catch him as well. No mana, twisted advance is a counter-strike in. Carlsen spaces nicely, still gets stunned up. The sapling helps out, and Sheo gets the shutdown. Team Heretics with their first kill of the game.
It's a little annoying for Heretics that the kill doesn't go to Carlsen himself because he really wants that goal for the individual matchup, but still, Sheo, after a really difficult early game, making an impact. He has given a trade-off to, as we just saw there, camps being taken by Isma in his own jungle. There's a chance that Isma again can start clawing ahead of that that kind of like just rate of farming. But at least he manages to impact the top lane matchup. Importantly so, we know how important the Gwen can be towards late game.
Jackies, I mean, I'm surprised this matchup, but I guess with Warden's mail early, I mean, it's only going to get worse. However, Kamiloo will scale with range, I'm sure, where eventually that Tristana will just be autoing outside the Q range of Jackies on that Sion. So keep an eye for that. At least for now, Jackies is keeping pace with farm. It really is one of the only lanes where I can say that. Look at bot. 10 CS lead between Jhin and Kai'Sa. Look at top. Same again. Carlsen's obviously been struggling. There's obviously been jungle attention too. And so you're just going through lane by lane, seeing GX and where that 2k gold lead has come from, how they got the 3 grubs, how they got the first dragon, and how they're setting up for the next one in a minute 30.
Has the level 6. Not going to look for anything. Well, there is also Isma here. Jones, do you want to go for a flash play onto Flakked? Yes, he does!
Nice body slam, sets up with the explosive cast. Flakked flashes immediately over and under turret. Noah ultis in behind the deadly flourish. It's Donkey-licious for the trade, but it's a 1-for-1 in the end with Isma getting a bit of a helping hand. The main thing is that Flakked's dead and Noah got to stay.
Sorry, Donkey, what?
Donkey-licious.
That's... I think you may have just done a neologism. You've invented a word there. That makes sense.
I'm the Jack Spectre of today. I foundationalized the word.
Ah, jeez. More things that we've learned here. But still, very important. Flakked loses both of his summoners. Jhin does use both of his. But whenever you have a trade where bot lanes are involved, the AD carry dies, they're losing gold, they're losing XP, which means that Noah gets a bit of an extra bonus there too. And of course the kill goes towards that Rell. Not exactly nice for Heretics. So GX, again, good early game for them. They managed to really get ahead of things. It's not necessarily in the jungle matchup, but maybe that changes here.
And the wave hurts Carlsen so much here. Counter-strike at the ready. Carlsen has his flash available. Will he get to use it? Out now finally, but Isma follows up easily. The needlework, there's not enough healing. Autos will suffice. Isma with kill number 2, and GX will just not give up on this top laner.
Heretics are really struggling to contain Isma. Wherever he turns up, Heretics need to be very, very respectful. And as we were saying before, actually the gold lead in the jungle wasn't that crazy, given that it's a first-blooded jungle. Gets the ability to walk into the enemy side of the map too. But he is impacting the map really, really well, like a pressure valve.
Look at Lot, picture in picture there. That's 3 plates taken within the laning phase. And, you know, it happened towards bot as well. There's a 1,500 gold lead between a Jax and a Gwen. And we talked about the matchup, and I feel like a lot of people just know by now that snowballing that matchup leads to a lot of success. side lane is going to be so hard to deal with when Lot's already got his Trinity forced by 11 minutes 45.
Plus Jack's pretty good against double AD carry comps too.
He is indeed.
So puts on the counter strike, ignores your auto attacks, maybe forcing a buster shot out of Kamiloo in inopportune circumstances. So credit to GX if this does work out and it transitions into a good game from Lot. Of course, it's a great game right now. This was made possible by the Sion being flexed towards mid. Draft, it was the Sion locked in early, bit of a bait. They're saying you will play the Gwen into this. No, we'll actually switch that around, get the Jax in, and he can be in a good matchup. Of course, GX are going to have less traditional carry power from the mid lane. You're not going to have someone like a Victor, Porky, Tristana, what have you, more consistent damage sources, but it has allowed this Jax to get really, really ahead. And what's even worse now, 3 grubs, second dragon down, GX have absolute objective dominance in the early game.
Once again, I feel like it's a similar story as, talking about BDS Nymaera. I know you had a passion about this, where we've seen it, I think you could say in Madrid as well, like, obviously this team, when they find early game leads, they're really good at navigating that into neutral objectives.
And this is against Sheo, the guy that brings Dragon priority to your teams. This is one of the things that Odoamne was talking about on the desk pretty consistently throughout the split. Well, Sheo brings you objective priority to your team in a way that, BDS are missing right now. GX, they have been really, really good at mastering this early game. And considering that when I looked at, say, Isma when he was on SK before, I thought, well, if the early game doesn't go well, sometimes he can kind of fall away from it. It's really good to see him have such a good early game impact with the team on an objective level, because Isma, when he actually sticks to that plan A, gets ahead of the game, gets onto the objectives, has been providing a lot of value to GX as of late.
Well, I mean, I tell you, it's not going to be the last objective taken in this game for sure. It's a minute 30 and Isma has full control, 80% of the map right now, maybe give 70 to be generous. Less generous. 70% of the maps is deep board's consistent and obviously hovering around Carlsen top. This hasn't stopped. He's just stuck to Lot because he knows it's a free counter-strike, it's a free spear, it might be a free kill, and Stend walking in shows the proof right there, looking for the crash down, respects it, but Magnet Storm used on the way out. Stend, maybe a bit of an over-escape.
Not sure about that one, yeah. Had Sheo over the wall. They do have the Maokai if they want to run GX out of the jungle. Be a bit much for a blue buff. Do they think they can get a big play after it? No, I doubt it. They don't have teleports to call to the play. Just trying to defend their own buffs for now. They'll at least stop Isma from taking it cleanly. It'll reset.
Well, that play was awkward now. Without Magnet Storm for like, what, 45, 50 seconds. Herald now seems even more impossible. Stend on the edge for an engage. Sheo trying to get back his own blue buff, but the engage follows through from Jhin first. Slow down while bot turret just dropped, by the way. Nature's Grasp, that's another ulti that in front of the objective you would love to have. And Heretics, this early game is just complete empty at the moment.
And now you've used your Maokai. That is your big get out of here button, where you have to respect that. You don't have that to stop someone in a side lane for the next few minutes. You don't have that to stop a play around the Herald, as you were just talking about objectives recently too. Typically, Maokai is great on blue side, using his ultimate to say you're going to get pinned against the Herald pit. You'd love to be able to play around that, but that is the dire straits to it. This is a 4,000 gold lead, 15 minutes. That's ridiculous for this time stamp.
You're playing a Nidalee comp, you're very happy. You're like, yep, we're doing exactly what we wanted to do. And with Leandre's as well, I mean, I'm sure that Nidalee's got a bit of extra gold to pounce back on as well. I'm also looking at a mid laner that has Frozen Heart first. Now Negatron Cloak is the next build path, and as you said already, Nymaera, there's double AD carry in this comp.
But eventually at some point, if you get a load of items on the AD carries, that would matter less. You're not going to get those items at this rate. The Heretics need to find a way to blunt this all-out aggression that's come from GX in terms of the objective-based gameplay so far, the dominance over the map. They need to find a way to get some of that map control back, because at this point, the tanks are just going to run rampant. They can jump forward to Jackie. He doesn't care he's got flash and ult. The best he can blow is one of them.
We might jump on him. Lethal Tempo is helping a bit now, though, but again, attack speed's a little bit slow. He ulties out. Jackie just walks it off like a bad hangover.
Yeah, he was sat there for a while, thinking of it. Don't need to blow ult. Don't need to blow ult. Okay, all right, guess you convinced me on that one. He uses that ult, but that's it. No, he's safe. That ult was not the longest cooldown ever. Sion has one of the highest base HP regens in the game as well, and he has a refill pot, so it's not like he even has to go back to base. He sticks around, regens up a bit of HP, starts stacking up that Soul Furnace W a little bit more, and that's all Heretics have got. A mild inconvenience towards Jackies at this point.
Mild inconvenience, well put. 5,000, the lead growing still, 55 seconds. Dragon number 3, and that's one the Heretics you have to think, need to contest, because at this point, you lose that, you lose Salt Point, you'll be in Baron, Atachan territory, and there's so much more leverage for GX to play through as those timers tick down.
Important note, by the way, we're talking about, hey, you need to get towards certain items to kill these tanks. I think this is quite intelligent, actually, coming through from the AD carry, saying, okay, Infinity Edge for the Jhin. We're not going to go towards that Collector. That's not going to be valuable. We need to get to... No, that Mosquito. We just saw what happened with the... Tristana tickling the Sion there. If you can get towards Lord Dominus Regards early after this, you will at least have some significant damage. If you can lock him down in front of you early enough, the Sion will have a lot less presence in teamfights.
True. I mean, at least now as well, like Kai'Sa's going to be diving backline. There's a little bit more volatility. But keep your eyes peeled. That Dragon, 5 seconds. Right now, Heretics are more angling towards the top side, trying to find Isma, some of these defensive wards. Maybe also trying to hover Carlsen as lot. Pax has TP. Dragon's now getting pinged, but...
He's got 2 items, man. Like, this is so unfair. He has an entire item up, 2 items to 1 onto Carlsen. Hasn't completed his tier 2 boots yet, so... well, then again, neither's the Gwen, but... Lot is in such an unparalleled level of power at this point. GX have been very much setting him up for success in draft and in gameplay. Heretics, at least they haven't been dying that much for the last little while. I thought this game would just go free-falling after this point. Sheo at least getting that kill onto Jackson on a side lane. Avoiding objectives for now, realizing, look, whether we are in no state to fight. I think that is the right mindset. You can't really walk up and contest that much right now.
So Isma, as he takes it, regardless, it still leads to Salt Point. It still puts GX in a much easier position as the time comes in 6:30 for that Baron to spawn. They can draw out that Dragon, an extra minute on top, and then suddenly you've got the leverage of both sides of the map that they'll probably own, both sides of the game that right now GX are holding full control of. And Team Heretics trying to wither out the Storm right now and not lose everything on the map, because you can see Isma continuously invading and just taking away as many camps as possible.
No, and I think that conversation you were starting there is really important. Like, they're trying to weather the storm for now. How much can you give up? Realistically, you have to give up a lot. That's not a bad trade there, actually.
There is burst, but I mean, Jun's tanky enough. Jumping in, you'd think Sheo would be, but he gets blasted. Isma also running in, you'd think it would be a bad idea, but they're still so strong. The dive continues out of Noah Shreds. Well, the all-in from GX works out anyway. They're there in a flash. Heretics thought they could fight back, but there's no chance. Noah, the unsung hero, has been scaling up alongside them. Now rears his head, which is looking mighty fine in game 1.
What Heretics thought was a quick pick leads to 4 of them dying. 4 people hit the ground. It's only Kamiloo which survives, and he has to use his flash alongside the teleport. We do get a pause.
Oy, oy, oy.
Not exactly sure what that's about. We'll give you more information when we get around to that. But Heretic, that is crushing. We were just saying, hey, it was fairly disciplined before that point.
Okay, well, the XGG aliens have come in. They're smiling at me, but what do they want?
The what aliens?
The aliens, you know, the XGG, the smiley aliens. The smiley aliens, they're looking at me and they're saying, what's wrong with our PCs? What's going on? Jackie's has shrunk into his chair.
Is that a really bad pronunciation of Xenomorph?
No. We'll find out. And it's been a rough game for Heretics. Like, you know, we often talk a lot about, like, okay, their laning's improved, like, their early games have improved. Sheo's, like, the glue that keeps it all together. This game, there hasn't really been much to say in words of praise for them, because they've kind of just slowly rolled over. Isma's taken over the early game. Top got crushed. Lots having a good game. Jax is best champ. There's a reason that you don't give this guy Jax. And so I feel like all the pieces have aligned for GX for a game 1, which is a good road, as we're talking about, to making sure that they can get themselves locked into playoffs.
Oh, it keeps coming back to that conversation of, hey, this seems like a really good Sion mid-flex. Do I think it's going to be good in every game? No. I think there are some cases where it can be punished, but I think in this one, opening up, you were saying this top laner to have best champion in a very good matchup in the Jax versus the Gwen as well, set up for success. Mid lane's gone well in that laning phase too. I like this draft a lot, and hopefully we'll get to see a bit more of it.
Well, ready checks coming through, but my screen is still great, which is kind of usual when I play League of Legends, so I don't really know any different.
Isn't it sepia technically?
Sepia, is it?
Yeah, sepia.
I thought it was sepia. Pronounced sepia or sepia?
I'm saying sepia now, and if I say it confidently enough, I think I'll get away with it.
It feels like an artistic thing where, like, in South Australia they say pool, but in the rest of Australia we say pool. But then people don't understand the difference between pool, like pulling a rope, and swimming pool.
Oh, yeah, that does make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
We have such great philosophical conversations.
We have important conversations, which will remind me to get you back to the game, because we're doing that now. Lot, you missed it, but he just whacked a turret for half HP down bot. and it's now gone. That's an inner turret. So gold lead. It might not say it at the top of the screen, but I guarantee it's like 6-7k after this one fight.
So we were praising Heretics just before this, saying it's not here just yet. It's not here. Aftershock comes on. You got the Drunken Rage from Gragas as he gets that damage reduction. Heretics, I think, thought this would be a quick pick. You know, just one bit of CC forwards. You can kind of follow up with the range from the Jhin. Obviously, that wasn't the case. Great follow-up from GX. This is the bonus of having something like a Kai'Sa to follow up so quickly alongside everything else. GX are so far ahead. 7,000 gold thereabouts at 20 minutes in. We keep saying, hey, well, this shouldn't be this much gold at this point in the game. Well, it keeps doing that, and it keeps getting larger and worse for Heretics.
The reason why Isma, with junglers that can take over the game, take the reins, he's gotten a lot of praise. When we see Isma and like Sejuani and things like Skarner, I don't get the same vibe, but even though the Pantheon's winless, I'll see that. I'll see Wukong, I'll see the Nidalee. I think something very differently is inner turret top goes down, 7.5, keep counting because that's going to lead them right towards Atakan. Uncontested while Carlsen just tries to get some gold back on the map.
Well, they have objective bouncies, which is the bonus of being so far behind, but doesn't feel that great right now. Atakan goes down, of course, that increases the value of the petals which you get and gets ability to start resetting these fights.
What happened on the other side of the map? Carlsen has TP, but GX, you know, win this one outright. Nate just grabs to be a good disengagement. Carlsen TP'd into the middle of everyone. Jackie's flash decimating smash to the two-man. Buffed out by Kamiloo, but not the rest. It'll be the cleanup crew and mopping up as the hard bit, but tipping out the dirty water. That'll be GIANTX closing this one out.
GX have very cleanly looked for fights. Champions like the Sion, like the Kai'Sa, are so strong right now because they respond so quickly. Opening is shown by Heretics after they try and defend that Atakan, and GX immediately pull the trigger. The teleports are too slow to come in. I think that's one of the reasons we're seeing more semi-globals and quick response patterns like this. Look, there's an entrance in towards this bot side river. Sion says, all right, the fight's starting. You are not going to get the quick enough teleport. This teleport comes in far too slowly. When you have a Sion, when you have a Kai'Sa, you can start the fight, you can end it before the teleport's even necessary here. Carlsen, he doesn't get to impact this fight. Sadly, goes from bad to worse for the entire team.
One of those things where you're like, I need to be there, but...
And you do,
you do
just like 10 seconds earlier. It's a problem.
Because you weren't. It stings you a lot. Now, mid was also opened up, and while this is going to be a massive cope take, like...
Okay, what
this is going to be as silly as saying words like cappuccino, ballerina, or whatever that stupid meme is.
The brain rot,
the armadillo, crocodile, like all that... Dude, TikTok's so brain rot. Anyway, as we come back, and hi to everyone watching on TikTok, by the way. As we come back... Team Heretics have once won a game. It was against BDS, I believe.
Yes, it was.
13.5k gold lead. They were down. I don't know how the conditions fly into anyone's mind here. I've seen crazy things. That's all I'm going to leave it with. They're finding some objective bounty gold. They've minimized from 9 to 7.5. They did the same when it was 8, back to 6.5. It's massive cope. But if anyone can do it, apparently Team Heretics can.
Just to cut back on the hope, production observers, can we get a toggle to Heretics vision? I want to see how much that they see on the map right now. Because I'm going to imagine it's very little. They see nothing. They see nothing. And this is why they have to play so far back. Look at Kamiloo, look at Flakked. They can't even walk up to defend their turret. Again, this is
ignorance is bliss. Not knowing is some of the best thing in life. There's a lot of things in life I wish I didn't know.
Briefly alluded to Xenomorphs earlier. Turns out in your own jungle, no one can hear you scream because there's no vision there either.
Oh no, now that I get.
Yeah.
Now Soul's an issue.
This is Kamiloo, the last survivor of the Nostromo.
Oh my god.
He actually is the only unkilled member so far.
Well, what can he do? Soul's now to GX. And again, I'll keep breathing in that good stuff because Soul bit of an issue when you have champions like Nidalee who can just go to Prowl and then do whatever Sheo. Blending into the environment. But unfortunately, there's a lumberjack here. And Jackie's with the right skin, but the wrong day for Sheo. He's trying to buy time, do whatever he can do. There's a Rell here as well. Gives him movement speed, but Sheo, I mean, what can you say? He hasn't been able to play this game. Delaying the inevitable while Jackie's cuts him down.
Took a lot longer to die than I thought he would.
True.
It just doesn't really lead to that much. So Kamiloo is actually making a foray into the enemy side of the map for the first time, feels like in a very long time for Heretics. Pushing now on the other side though, GX, a reminder that they have Cloud Soul to run at you quicker. They have 3 grubs.
No wave though.
Well, they're coming soon, mate. They're coming soon. They got 2 of them, in fact.
You're right. There are more than 1 minion waves in League of Legends, and GIANTX have got 2 of them. And now
getting out of hand. Now there are 2 of them.
It really is. And look, Kamiloo's come back to base. He's flashed on. He's not stunned up by a lot. Flashes out this time rather, and Jackies gets stunned back. Heretics fighting back. They've got AoE. This is what I said. It ain't over till it's over. The curtain's going to fly. Jhin is the target. Noah blocks it up, but Nature's Grasp is still alive as Isma. Narrow dodge. Lot gets out the top, and Carlsen zones out through the rim. It's only 1, but what did I tell you? As Jackies, even on Sion, that dude gets caught out.
So, turns out, there is still a Gwen in this game, and there are still 2 AD carries. So we said, hey, they are going towards the tank-killing items. They both have dominance regards right now. We said, hey, really intelligent itemization. It's the best you can do in this game to say, look, we need to kill this front line ASAP. Kamiloo is now going towards this bot side, trying to, again, just get a pocket of pressure for Heretics, get some control of the map back. However, this is the lane which has its inhibitor up right now. The other 2, this early into the game, having inhibitors down is a problem. GX can go straight towards that Baron, force Heretics to respond, teleport in from GX as well, forcing the issue.
There is a ward there, but again, for Team Heretics, it's just going to be destroyed immediately. So this Baron inevitably going to go down. Jhin doing damage control in case anyone gets near. And for GX, still this game is theirs. They've just got to, you know, bowl down the pins, I guess. However, no, I'm just kidding. I do think this should be GX.
Yeah, there is a certain point where playing Devil's Advocate is a little disingenuous.
I mean, it's so hard to in this game when you're like, man, GX to just run the whole riff. Kamiloo again, he's being cheeky onto Isma, get some damage back, but he's now at half HP. And as you said, those minions channeling in. There may not be supers here, but with the inhibitor up, GIANTX have their target in mind.
So, inhibitor in the middle. Oh, top lane actually wasn't taken, my bad though. We'll take it now though. It will take now though. Here comes the Maokai.
Okay, Nature's Grasp. Jackie's ulti out. Deadly Flash doesn't connect. Decimating Smash onto Stend does. Lot zoning out. Sheo is going to take 1 for the boys as GIANTX poke him out a little bit. Kamiloo's in lethal tempo mode. He's keeping that up, but GIANTX get out of his vision. Out of sight, out of mind. I wish I could say, but Team Heretics see GIANTX running in as a big storm wall. And Kamiloo can only barely just hold back. GIANTX have broken down 2 inhibitors now, and surely a 3rd is next to come. TP.
Full Sion is brought up by Lot. Stend could look to kill him on, well, engage on the arrival. Carlsen, Lot jumps back. That's a lot of damage.
Really nice from Kamiloo to buffer, but you're right. The damage hurts up and up where they're going to find triple in hit regardless. This might be like Helm's Deep, but more realistic. 10k gold lead. The problem is now, Team Heretics, how do you fight off all 3 waves? Top just needs to be catered for, and then the pressure will be there. So GIANTX not getting everything in a row, but wave clear is enough for now. Noah's dancing in the back, and here we go again.
Yeah, so those were some of the waves without the super minions. Now the next ones, they're going to be a little bit more tricky. Triple inhib down. Baron buff still in as well, and you don't have a Maokai for this wave. That's a problem. You're not going to be able to stop GX walking up nearly as easily.
In there, Stend with a good engage, but they're zoned off. Carlsen's going to drop the ulti as well, but locked in goes Golden. Needlework number 2 with 1 held in hand. For the time being, Carlsen used it, but Team Heretics, their turrets are dying. They may hold up the fight, but GIANTX is just going for the rear. And as Noah jumps in, it's going to be a trade with the Nexus bare bones. Kamiloo's fighting out with lethal tempo. Nexus still there. Flucks away. Jackie's just autoing it. He's got enough damage because the team will then converge. A hard-fought win, but a well one for GIANTX in game 1.
Trying to think who I would want to praise the most there. The Sion flex is so important. Isma's early game fantastic too, but Lot smashed that top lane wide open.
He did. GIANTX, one more step towards getting themselves towards playoffs. All it takes is 2-0.